Your team.
Okay. Our definition of diversity is bringing different perspectives and experiences to the table, which means sharing your cultures, sharing your upbringing, the way of doing things. Is that good enough?
Well done. Okay, so I like that so far. So again, this is what I challenge you, right? And anyone on your team. What have you noticed that I've done in a short period of time, a little less than 20, 25 minutes, that relates to what you said?
You asking me?
Yes, or any member
Oh.
on your team.
I think just having us all share that one interesting thing
Mhm.
kind of showed each other, like we learned, we were just talking about Eddie, like we never knew he liked to go fishing.
Got it.
And then we thought that would be wonderful for him, maybe if he was comfortable to take the kids out.
Excellent, excellent. Very good, well said, Susan. So one of the things that's interesting, what you just said too, is really trying to understand people. Ask questions about people. We work with each other every day, right? And we find things out about each other when we ask questions, okay? We spend more time with each other in a professional environment than we do at home with loved ones and family and friends, right? You guys have been working with each other for years. It's really important, not just to come in and do your job and leave, but to interact. That's what diversity is. That's understanding. And my stories that I share with you, I do that for a reason. That's how you know about people. So now I know that Pierre got a son named Malik. Got it? That's important. Very, very important. What else you guys say? Did you talk about its importance, or are you good?
Oh, well, we had for this importance, having a sense of equality and open-mindedness.
Open-mindedness is extremely key. Open-mindedness is extremely key. Right? Well said, Brianna. Thank you. Chandra, what you got?
Okay, diversity, when people from many different cultures can come together and make it work. It's lots of knowledge and viewpoints from different cultures. That way everybody is included, and instead of using I, the word we can be used.
What is the difference between I and we? Why should we use, Chandra, I and we? Why? I and we.
Well, on a team, because I mean, working here, you have to be a part of a team. Everybody has to work together.
Excellent. Excellent. Well said. Thank you very much. That one's for my sister. Shanikia. I want to say Sadiqa because my sister's name is Shanikia.
Our group, three, okay, what is our, definition of diversity? A group of individuals from different backgrounds such as culture, sex, age, and environment.
Okay.
And its importance is working together and respecting each other's diversity.
So, this is what, Shanika, this is where I challenge you. On your team alone, how does what you've said apply to what your team just brought to the table? Or is anyone on your team?
Okay,
Okay.
so, when it got brought to as far as my attention, I just started thinking, like, we all come from different backgrounds. We all stay in different environments. So, you know, us talking and getting to know each other will respect one another, where each person comes from. As far as like me and Courtney, me, Tiffany, me and Michael,
Excellent.
I would respect what they're saying. I might not agree with it, but as a person, I have to respect it because they're different from me. Not everybody is like me.
Excellent. Well said. Michael, anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, like, this group alone is very diverse.
Sure.
I think is what you're trying to get at.
Yes, sir.
You know, we have different ages, different races, different sexes here. I mean, and it's kind of a very micro example of
Absolutely.
diversity.
Absolutely. And that's going to be critical and key. When we have an organization with just one race, with just one gender, it serves little purpose to the value of an organization or entity. okay, live to purpose, because we're narrowed. We only see that particular area and that particular thing. Here's a small example of that. Those communities that the children do not go outside those communities, and they've been in those communities for such a long time, that's their perception of the world. Outside of TV, that's their perception of the world. So as they get older, be it any race, as they get older, they believe just that for their perception. We have to get them out. Those folks who are extremely wealthy, as an example, and they've never been outside of the wealthy community and did some volunteer work or interacted outside of their community, they have that one perception. Those folks who are not as fortunate to get outside that community as often, they then build up their own perception. You understand that whole concept? Extremely important. Extremely important. All right, so that was well done. Thank you from your point of view. Mr. Pierre, what you got?
I got mix of people, different mindset. Everybody else does the same stuff, so like race, sexuality, height, weight.
So Pierre, here's why I asked you a question. What's the importance of different mindsets? What is the importance of different mindsets?
Well, that's what I'm pouring at, everybody matters. Your mindset might matter to whatever it is that my mindset is. But it's different from what you think and what I'm thinking.
That's right.
Everybody has an opinion for something.
Here's why I challenge you even more, right? And I'm gonna do this throughout the class all day today. All day, all day. It's amazing. And again, you're doing well, right? But I'd like to keep challenging folks. So here's my question to you. When a person tells you they have years and years of experience with something, should we automatically go and believe everything that person say? Yes or no?
No.
And tell me why. They got years of experience, Peter. They've been doing this a long, long time.
I'm gonna say it's like, it's, you know, things change, like I said, it's like that, the age difference is not the same as how the new generation is.
That's right. Millennials,
Like
especially. Right?
how you was brought up is totally different from how these new kids gonna be brought up.
Absolutely.
Like, so they things like, you know, I used to get a whooping, they're gonna be like, they can take my tablet.
Exactly. And can I say, it's amazing. That's well said. Well said. Things that I say in this class, I say it for a reason. I use my son as an example, right? God forbid, if I did something like that, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now, right? It's crazy, a little injured probably, right? But I have to take electronics from him. He can't participate. We have family night every Friday. He doesn't participate in family night, and that hurts him deeply, right? So things like that today, it's changed, right? It's really important, right? So well said. So again, these are some of the things we're gonna go in from a diversity initiative. Mr. Brandon, I'm gonna need you to close the presentation, please, sir, I'm sorry. So you can follow me along. We're gonna do a little bit more of that. You can follow me along in your books today. So again, Pierre. So far, so good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And it's funny, and just for your edification, for your FYI, in academia, when I do this in academia, it's based on your grades. You guys know that who have masters and bachelors, right? It's based on your grades. When I do this for organization, they do it for different incentives. So in this, I want to thank Deb. Thank you so much. I want to thank Debbie and some of the other senior leaders because they allow me to give away these small incentives for things to me that are challenging and profound. So that's good. All right. So again, and this is for everyone's edification too. I have a PhD in organizational behavior. I have probably 5 degrees, and I only use my doctorate title whenever I'm teaching. So if you guys see me on email or anything else, I don't use it, right? So my job function, Shanikia, is to ensure that we get the best talent and hire people. So when you call me and we talk about recruiting functions, you're not gonna hear me say doctor. But since they ask me to do things outside of my job function, yeah, I'm using my title. All right, so that's the story. And all my students and everyone outside of professional environment use a doctor title too. So here, we don't have to, and even in this class, you don't have to use it. I just don't feel like using it. So that's the story. Just want to share that before we song. It's good. All right, so workshop description. We talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today from a topic standpoint. And you guys said a lot of this. Shadika, I heard you, Brianna, you talked a little bit about that. Regardless of position, age, winning businesses rely heavily on synergy. What is, Chandra, what is your definition of synergy? You ever heard that word before, synergy?
I believe it's when things work together.
That's right. That's right. Synergy. Different cultures, different backgrounds, different teams work together. That's synergy, right? When you do not have synergy, there's dysfunction. That's the opposite end of the spectrum, dysfunction, right? So that's important. Dysfunction can rear its ugly head, Diana, as turnover, performance problems, right? Fighting, arguing, dissension, right? That means there's a lack of synergy in your group. We're going to talk about etiquette and business etiquette. And here's one small thing. When we talk a little bit about business etiquette, Kelvin. Some of the things I've noticed, not in just our organization, but throughout life, especially now that we have more millennials. There's no good mornings. There's no hellos anymore, right? There's no eye contact anymore, right? So as we move away from that, our society, our professionalism, it starts to deteriorate, right? When you're working, and you guys are working with different people in different environments and each other, and you don't say good morning, or some people just say morning. It might not be a good morning for you. Morning is important, right? When we start not doing that, that's a problem. Okay, that's business etiquette 101. Hello, thank you, right? That's key. When you start off emails, when you start off your communication, you use the person's name. Do not send an email without addressing the person. Hello, or to all, or something. At the end of your emails, a thank you, right? That's it. Very important. We have slowly gotten away from that in organizations. And that causes dissensions and dysfunctions. Small things like that. You tell your children about that every day, so that's important. You wake up in the morning, good morning, hello, right? That's important. So if we tell our children about that, you know how important it is to us. Very important. And that's how we were raised, but we're getting away from that. Emotional intelligence. We're going to learn, a lot of us here know this terminology, but we're going to learn a new word today, right? And Pierre, one of the things that I love about that word is that it's a word that's been around for a long time, but we're really starting to embrace it, emotional intelligence, right? It's not IQ, Pierre. It's not those folks who walk around and they book smart, right? But they don't have street smarts, right? They don't know how to interact with people well, right? So you can be really intelligent, you can't interact with people well, you're not going anywhere in life. You'll go to a certain point and that's it. Done. Done. Really important. And again, not to get politics involved, but there are certain key people in politics that are intelligent, business-wise, but they have a low EQ. Again, we're not getting politics involved. We're not going to say it because I'm being taped. So it's really, really important to have both an EQ and IQ. But what I can say, and these are my biases, past leaders had a sense of both. IQ and EQ, trying to get along with people, plus have the intelligence. You need both. Right. How often have we heard, Michael, when people say, "Wow, I can't believe that person got that position," right? So, goals, diversity training, different languages, awareness of languages, awareness of body language is important. This is on the next page, I guess page 3 in your pamphlets. Understanding your colleague's perspective, recognizing and minimizing biases, and learning the facts, right? Learning the facts. So Diane, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. So when we talk about biases in the workplace, in your mind, what is your understanding, or can you provide us an example of some biases in the workplace? Anything.
Well, from the position that I have, I think that a lot of times the leaders, management more helpful to have more discussions with staff and bring more people into a, you know, if we're gonna make a decision or something, I think there's not enough of that.
Got it.
Where we're not bringing enough, you know, bring in direct care, bring in like, people that actually are doing
Excellent,
something.
excellent.
That are in, you know, I don't know, what I call on the floor.
I got it.
They know more of what's really going on in a house than any of us that
Yeah.
are up here.
Yeah, I like
Even
that.
though we go in and out,
Yeah.
these guys know it.
Yeah.
So why are they not being brought into meetings and different things to throw out their perspective of what's going on? Because they're a wealth of knowledge that's not being tapped.
I like that. I like that. So again, from your perspective, that's biases in learning the facts. Recognize and minimize it. I like that. I want something more. Tiffany, what do you think? When you talk about biases in the workplace, and from your understanding, what do you think biases in the workplace is?
Being biased is about taking one side over
Go ahead. Absolutely fantastic.
just having an open policy.
Open policy or open mind?
Open minded.
Good.
But they need to have something for everyone, so that way, like she said, not taking this from one side.
So, one of the things that I want us to jot down, because we're going to come back to this shortly, right? And we on page 3, is having an open mind. And we're going to talk about that. Actually, we're going to see a quick video on having an open mind and its importance. Eddie, last opportunity just for us to wrap this up, because this is important. Biases and learning the facts, important. In your mind, and you said to us that prior to coming here, you did some long distance driving, you met some people, you interacted with some people, then you came here in this environment. From your perspective, what are some of the biases that you've seen?
Some of the biases I seen while I was on the road, especially in the Midwest.
Got it.
Me being an Afro-American, coming into a truck stop, being perceived not like them, being the wrong color.
Absolutely.
So they showed a different kind of bias toward,
Yeah.
and which wasn't good, and it made me feel uncomfortable.
Good.
So,
Good. Well said. Well said. And that's really, really important too, right? Especially in this day and age, when we are today, right? So when you talk about racial biases,
Right.
Too, we're going to talk about that and others as well. But really important for us to understand, this here permeates, and this is what I'm going to tell you. This permeates in our society to this day. Some of the parents that you guys interact with have a tremendous amount of biases, right? Some of the parents that we interact with every day have a tremendous amount of biases. But, let's see who can answer this question, just raise your hand. How can we help folks overcome biases? How can we help folks, you're gonna be first and then you, all right? How can we help folks overcome biases the best we can? Jump in, Mike.
Really, the only thing I can think of is education and experiences.
Got it.
Give them different experiences that are outside of their norm,
Go ahead.
which is.
Education and different experiences. Let's talk about the experiences for a second. Hold that thought. Experiences for a second. What are you saying?
I was about to say the same thing, but introduce them, like, show them.
That's right.
Things that we
Start your
do.
stuff,
That's right.
show them who you are, rather
Absolutely.
than running away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really important for us to understand that media shapes biases. Media shapes biases. Newspaper, magazines shapes biases. TV shapes biases. You said something well. And it's in the back of the room, right? For beliefs to change, experiences must change first. For beliefs to change, experiences must change first. So if you know there's a stigma, if you know there's a bias on something, we need to not feed into that bias, right? Really, really important. Here's a small example of that. And I'm gonna go back to your point, Eddie. The importance of trying to change biases is not to play into certain things, right? Here's a small example that has really been on the forefront. It's a sensitive topic, so I'm gonna tell you ahead of time, it's a sensitive topic, but it's slowly coming to fruition in society. What's been happening with the unethical practices or the challenges with certain corrupt police officers, right? Because overall, our police force is positive, but there are corrupt people in everything that we do. So we should be telling our children to do the best we can to try to resist and not feed into those biases as much as possible, right? And that can help it just a small amount, to your point, just a small amount. And then there's other things that have to happen. And again, the second thing with that is more knowledge. So then we have more sensitivity training, more cultural training. But again, not to feed into some of those biases. It's really, really important. All right. We're going to talk more about that a little later. Just wanted to bring that point up. Thank you, Eddie, for that. All right, emotional intelligence. I'm going to talk about that. Communication skills must be really addressed. The way we articulate, the way we communicate to each other, to the folks we work with, to the parents, right? Listening skills helps us. We talk about even changing perceptions. The way we communicate, the way we interact with each other is important. One of the things that is extremely disturbing, and is not this organization. I've been to doing this for a long time, well over 20 years, in different organizations and also in different countries. And this is another sensitive topic. I preference it. Here we go. I'm preferencing it. So this is a difficult conversation. Since we're on a topic about perceptions and race perceptions, the use of the N-word, in our society is becoming at an all-time high. Not just with non-people of color. I'm going to say it again. Not just with non-people of color, but with people of color. To the fact now, and most of us heard this, some of us didn't, to the fact now that most of society, young men now, greet each other with that term. I'm going to say it again. Most of our young men now greet each other with that term as a term of endearment, right? My end. You guys heard the term before, right? But then, and it's just, and those of you who are really into this and who really want to expound themselves and grow, I need you guys to do a Google search on this. Just recently, Bill Maher and Ice Cube had a big documentary on it. So Ice Cube said to him, he said, well, we can use that because it's us, people of color. And I like Ice Cube because I'm from Los Angeles, but some things he said I'm just really whacked out about. So it's okay for a certain group to use it, but not other groups to use it because of whatever history. But the connotation behind that years ago was negative. So why are we using it at all in terms of endearment? What happened to small terms of endearment, my brother, my man, or something like that? Why do we have to go to such extremes, but then get offended when it's used by others? In a professional environment, and this is going to be profound, in a professional environment, in our environment, if that term is used, that could be immediate cause for termination. I don't know if this is told, but that could be immediate grounds for termination, even if it's a term of endearment. If it's a term of endearment, immediate grounds for termination. We shouldn't have that. When they tell us, they meaning HR, I'm part of HR, right? That you can't even wear your favorite basketball team, Golden State. You can't wear certain religious articles of clothing, right? You can't wear certain schools, right? If we're that in the minutia, how do we believe that we can use the word in an environment? As soon as that word is used, that should be automatic grounds for termination. So please understand that. And one of the things that's important too is a lot of us work around children. So we know about that old age. Children learn what they hear, right? So we really have to be careful about that. It's really important. Okay, so we're talking about changing perceptions. Let's start with ourselves in most cases and understand that's not good, right? So please understand that. Identifying behaviors, positive attitudes, and everything that we do should be solutions driven. So when we have a problem, Chandra, we talk about interacting with people on our team or people who report into us, to show them how to come to the table, how to talk to us with the problem and some possible solutions, right? Because everyone in this room, Angela, can think of a problem. How many of us can come with possible solutions, right? Everyone can come with, my 10-year-old can come with problems. He can give you a list of problems, but as soon as I say, Marcus, what are some ideas that you have to fix that? He's quiet, right? So everyone can come with a problem. Eddie, how many of us can come with some solutions? So it's really important for us to understand that. Okay? Questions or concerns so far? Good? This is one of my favorites. And hopefully you guys get to see this around. And this is on page 5. Am I, these pages are set up right? Are they correct? Good. I just want to make sure. I want to thank Brandon for helping me out with this. So, not everyone thinks the way we think, knows the things we know, believes the things we believe, nor acts the way we act. Remember this, and interacting with others can be less challenging. Shanae, did I say that right?
Yes.
Excellent. What does that mean to you? Read it again. What does that mean to you? Give me an example, or what does that mean to you?